Hello, my name is Dan Tatro. I am one of the project leads for the Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge K-3 Formative Assessment Project. You are viewing a recorded informational webinar for KEA, Kindergarten Entry Assessment Pilot participants. Thank you for agreeing to participate in the North Carolina Entry Assessment Pilot with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. Your participation is crucial to the continued development of the North Carolina Kindergarten Entry Assessment. We are eager to learn from and with you during this pilot process. The goals of this recorded webinar are to provide a brief overview of the K-3 Formative Assessment Project, provide general information about the July Kindergarten Entry Assessment Pilot Training, and provide general information about the pilot process itself. In December 2011, North Carolina was awarded a Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge grant. Part of this grant is funding to the development of resources to implement a formative assessment process in North Carolina's kindergarten through third grade classrooms, which will begin with a kindergarten entry assessment. The General Assembly also has authorized the use of the K-3 formative assessment process as well as, including the kindergarten entry assessment, in public schools statewide through legislation. The North Carolina State Board of Education and DPI adopted the Council of Chief State School Officers definition of formative assessment. Many of you may be familiar with this definition through your work with NC Falcon and initiatives within your districts to implement a formative assessment process in your schools and classrooms. The K-3 formative assessment process, including the kindergarten entry assessment, is being developed in alignment with this definition. North Carolina's vision for a statewide K-3 formative assessment process is to provide resources and an electronic platform that teachers can use to gather evidences of learning that will help them learn about all areas of children's development and learning and their progress towards standards, thus giving them a better picture of the whole child. North Carolina understands and is committed to helping teachers address all 5 domains of learning and development because they are linked and therefore all important to children's success in school and life. When teachers are able to make early determinations about where individual children are in relation to their learning and development, and then act upon the information they gather, it impacts children's success with academic experiences throughout the early elementary years. The kindergarten entry assessment is aligned with North Carolina's Foundations for Early Learning and Development and North Carolina's Standard Course of Study, which includes the Common Core State Standards and North Carolina's Essential Standards. Within the Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge grant, it describes a task force that would be formed to both develop and implement the K-3 formative assessment. The way that the Department of Public Instruction envisioned this task force includes several components, the first of which was a think tank. The think tank was comprised of scholars, university researchers, as well as teachers and practitioners and Department of Public Instruction staff. The think tank was charged with coming up with broad claims, which are general statements about what is most important or what is most essential for children to be able to know and do in the 5 domains of learning and development in the kindergarten through third grade years. That think tank developed claims, 3 to 4 claims for each of the 5 domains of learning and development, and then passed those on to the assessment design team. The assessment design team, which is still in the process of continuing to develop the resources and materials for K-3 formative assessment process, has taken those claims and deconstructed them to pull out the concepts that are represented in those claims, and this is what the assessment is being developed around. The third body is the implementation design team, and they have just recently begun meeting, and their charge is to come up with a plan for statewide implementation and scaling up that will ensure the assessment's sustainability over time. You'll notice in the center of our graphic it says North Carolina stakeholders. That's you. We think that it is most important that what we create for teachers comes from teachers. We want folks to have as much input as they can in the development as well as the implementation of the K-3 formative assessment process, as well as the kindergarten entry assessment, which is part of that process. And so we have engaged our stakeholders in a significant way, and we will continue to do so. We've had focus groups of hundreds of teachers across the state in pre-K through third grade. We've interviewed teachers, we've sent out surveys, and we've also had a significant number of teachers actually review a lot of the work that we've been doing and provide input and feedback along the way. We want to be certain that teachers, principals, district folks, families, as well as other community members have input into this process and input into what this assessment will look like. We want this to come from you. We've also had a family focus group as well to get input from families. And so where you come into this picture of stakeholder engagement is through our kindergarten entry assessment validity pilot. And once again, thank you. You are going to help us take the assessment resources and materials, the process that we put into place, the electronic platform. You're going to help us to see how this works so we can make it as best as it can be. So the North Carolina Kindergarten Entry Assessment will be the first implementation of the broader K-3 formative assessment process, and it will occur during the first 60 days of enrollment. While we are initially piloting and implementing the kindergarten entry assessment separately from the rest of the K-3 formative assessment process, it will in fact be the beginning of that K-3 process once it is implemented statewide. The purpose of the kindergarten entry assessment is to provide teachers and families, again, with a more complete picture of children as they enter kindergarten. It will also support instructional planning to promote children's success in school. It is not intended, however, to be used to make high-stakes accountability decisions for teachers or children. The kindergarten entry assessment pilot, the purposes of that, because this is a newly developed process and new content, we wish to better understand its use in the classroom so that revisions and improvements can be made prior to statewide implementation. The assessment resources, processes, and professional development have been extensively reviewed, but we need your help to be sure that they are practical and meaningful in the teaching and learning process. Okay, a little bit about the training that will occur this summer. Select districts have agreed to participate in the pilot, and each of those districts have agreed to send at least one district office contact person, principal, and kindergarten teacher. In most cases, there are several kindergarten teachers attending as well, but there are some places where it's a single kindergarten teacher from a school. Kindergarten teachers, principals, and DPI staff will attend 2 days of professional development, and the district office personnel will attend the first day. The goals of the pilot training are to build a concept of the kindergarten entry assessment. So what is the kindergarten entry assessment, what's its purpose, and how will it inform what we do in classrooms. You'll also learn about the structure and components of the kindergarten entry assessment, as well as how it will be implemented in classrooms. The professional development itself will include 2 days of face-to-face training. The training will occur at multiple locations across the state, which I will show in a few minutes. On the first day, administrators will participate in a breakout session for 90 minutes, and we will also provide additional materials to support that training, as well as learning that can occur between the training and when children actually enter school and teachers actually begin implementing the kindergarten entry assessment process. Okay. Some of the training topics that you will experience are, again, the purpose of the kindergarten entry assessment, as well as the assessment cycle and the components of that assessment process. You will learn about the important role of observation within the assessment process, and the importance of taking quality observational notes. You will be introduced and really dive into the online tool that we are providing for you to collect assessment information, evidences of learning, and you'll have lots of time to practice. So we will be providing scenarios that you will be able to practice with, engaging with that online tool, as well as having collaboration and conversations with your peers as part of the process. Okay. The administrator session that will occur on day 1 for 90 minutes will provide a very brief overview of implementation, certain components of implementation. We will discuss the communication processes that will occur so that information can be passed on from the classroom to the district level on up to the Department of Public Instruction, as well as the Teaching Strategies, our technology vendor. We will talk about that process and the protocol for that during the session, and we will also discuss strategies to support kindergarten teachers as they implement during the pilot process. So some of the components of the pilot process itself. Teachers will implement this during the first 60 days of enrollment using the materials and resources and online tool to implement this assessment. We're also going to ask that folks complete a training and technical assistance survey. So we want to find out about the training, the quality of the training, if it was helpful, what we could have done differently, what worked really well, as well as the support that we will provide afterwards. We're going to ask folks to provide feedback on the kindergarten entry assessment process itself so we can continue to improve that so it's meaningful and useful. And we also are going to ask schools to disseminate information to families in pilot schools about the pilot, and we'll provide those one-page documents for schools to be able to send out. We're also going to have ask additional things of select participants. So there will be some participants that will be selected, and if agreed, we will ask them to participate in observations and post-observation conferences that will be conducted by the validation study team out of UNC Charlotte. We'll also ask folks to participate in interviews with this team from UNC Charlotte, and we'll ask that you provide evidence, access to the evidences of learning that you collect during the assessment process so they can be analyzed for the content of those evidences. Again, by UNC Charlotte, as well as the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. Again, this is all in an effort to improve the assessment, resources, materials, the process, so we can make this the best it can be as we scale it up and implement it statewide in 2015 and 16. The North Carolina Department of Public Instruction will provide, ongoing technical assistance and support to teachers, principals, and district office personnel, and will also help facilitate communications between school districts and the UNC Charlotte team that's conducting the validity study. Our technology vendor Teaching Strategies will be providing technology support for the online platform. Again, all of the information with regards to these communications will be provided during the summer training session. Professional development dates and locations. Again, there are 8 locations where we will be hosting the training in July. You're also being sent this PowerPoint with this information in a PDF format so that you can print it up. But as you see, there's one location within each State Board of Ed district, and they're on alternating dates. So some of the sessions in regions 3 and 4 and 6 and 8 occur on July 7th and 8th, and the sessions in regions 1, 2, 5, and 7 occur on July 9th and 10th. We request, if possible, ideally for each participant to bring their own laptop. It's really required for this training, as much of the work will be done within the online tool, and it will be used actually to implement the assessment. Laptop requirements are listed on this slide and also within your PDF version of the slides. So your laptops will need to meet these minimum requirements. If there's not access to a laptop, then a tablet will suffice, as long as the tablet, tablet's wireless capable and Wi-Fi capable, I should say. So wireless internet, as well as has a browser. So Safari for Apple, for example, or Chrome. Again, laptops are ideal, but if laptops aren't available, a tablet will work as well. Also, please bring your power cords so that you can plug your electronic device in and keep that battery charged, as we will be using these quite a bit. All right. The North Carolina Department of Public Instruction will reimburse participants for mileage related to the summer training, so driving back and forth, as well as providing stipends for participating teachers. We just ask, with regards to mileage reimbursement, we ask just that you ride share if possible to conserve on resources. If you would like some further information about the K-3 formative assessment process, please visit our wiki. You'll see the web address displayed here on the screen. We encourage you to visit often, as we are constantly uploading new information, as well as recorded webinars and other things that we've done. So thank you for listening to this recorded webinar. Again, and thank you so much for agreeing to participate in our kindergarten entry assessment validity pilot this summer. And we look forward to seeing you in July.